And we talked about it last night, like if someone triggers you, if they say something, boy, that was great. Like now I try, like if someone says something and it pisses me off, I'll like a good way of doing it with someone close is to say thank you, because it's obviously something you need to work on within you. So you go and go, why that? That's an opportunity. And this is my evolution of where I'm getting to now.
That was Deb Lee-Furness, and you're listening to The Regenerative Journey.
G'day, I'm your host Charlie Arnott, an 8th generational Australian regenerative farmer. And in this podcast series, I'll be diving deep and exploring my guests' unique perspectives on the world so you can apply their experience and knowledge to cultivate your own transition to a more regenerative way of life.
Welcome to The Regenerative Journey with your host Charlie Arnott.
G'day, welcome to the Regenerative Journey and welcome to this episode with Deb Lee-Furness. Angelica, my wife, has been very, very good friends with Deb for many, many years, and we caught up with her in her house in the Hamptons in July last year, and it was wonderful to sit with her. She is an absolute dynamo, as you probably know, and to sit with her in relative calm and for her to give me a few hours of her time and be so open and graceful and honest, and just a wonderful, wonderful person to sit down with. She's very entertaining. I can't remember how many times we got off track, which made it very interesting. But we got there. She's wonderful, and I just can't tell you, Deb, how much I enjoyed our chat and our stay with you there for a couple of days. It was a wonderful, kind of getting towards the end of our holiday, a month away. It was a bit of a holiday, a bit of a working holiday, but it was lovely to sit there and kayak out on the out in the water there and just chill for a few days with you and your lovely hospitality. And everyone, to you, our wonderful listeners, I hope you enjoyed this fantastic interview with Deb Lee-Furness on the Regenerative Journey. Deb Lee-Furness, welcome to the Regenerative Journey, and welcome
I'm
to
regenerating as we speak. So
I know.
This is perfect time.
We had such a good yarn last night too. Oh, and I got to finish my spiel. And welcome to your lovely outside. Do you call this? In Australia, we might call it a pretty smart patio. What do you call it?
I call it my sanctuary.
It is.
It's just a general sanctuary. Those gates open. I mean, I live in New York City, which is doop, doop. And so when you need this opposite as a contrast. So when those gates open here and I just look at this, as soon as the gates close, I'm transported to another world.
And is this your – and I can't agree with you more, because when we turned up here yesterday, late in the afternoon, and we were like going, oh, do we get out and is there what's the code? Should we call? And then the door just went, the gate went, oh, there we go.
Magic.
In we went. You appeared. We had a little mosey around, and we, having been on the road for 2.5 weeks, just fell apart a bit. Because it was immediately it was like a sanctuary.
That's what I wanted to create. I love beauty. I mean, that's my thing. I love to create. I think it's my passion. It lights me up to create space. And I like to create space where people feel really welcome and really good in the space with just a little splash of magic.
Well, you're bloody good at it.
Thank you, darling.
Because we had a lovely little impromptu din last night and chat, which was lovely because we haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, we had leftovers, but they were good. But
you know what? And Lil was like laughing this morning, going, "Oh, and that was leftovers."
Well, we just said we were going to go out, and then we're like, "No, we don't want to go out." And I was like, "Let's look at the fridge and get creative here. Whack it all up, make it look pretty on the table, and off we go."
I don't know who made that bread and butter pudding, but it wasn't me. It was bloody. It was so good.
She was Australian.
Yes,
that's what was good.
Still is.
She still is.
But she wasn't here.
She wasn't here.
Tell me, so is this your first sort of project? Was this your first project, designing, informing, creation in terms of a residence and a little slice of the world?
It doesn't matter if I'm in a box, wherever I go. Even when I was on the road as an actress, I would create a space, and that's fresh flowers or this, or I put a splash of that. I've always done that. All my friends in Australia laugh because when I was a teenager, I used to have this book, The Dream Book, and I knew one day it was my passion. And I think home is important to me. And I knew I was going to build a dream home. So I had this book, and I just cut things out of magazines, or either an atmosphere or a table or whatever it was, and I put it in the book. And everyone gave me shit about it and was like, yeah, Deb. And I said, one day I'm going to do this. They're like, yeah. So when I actually put this on Instagram and I finished this place, all my friends in Australia said, oh, my God, the book, it came to life. But and I am a bit of a manifester. I believe in the law of attraction. I believe in manifesting. And I dreamed this place. I sweated every beat. I could see it. I had a vision. Some people have different gifts, but I can just spatially see things. I mean, usually you move into a place and then you choose the art. I had on my travels, I remember in Italy, and I remember in Japan. That'll go perfect there. And I put the art in. I knew the art before I even built the place. But so yeah, we bought this place to start from scratch, which it's actually much harder. It's like every artist knows that it's so hard to stare at a blank canvas. It takes courage.
So there was nothing here at all?
There was a house we pulled down.
Okay. Yeah.
But it takes courage. I don't know if have you read the book, and I highly recommend it, The War of Art.
No.
I recommend this to anyone who's an artist.
As opposed to The Art of War.
You got it.
I did see it. I saw that in the bookstore the other day.
And it's the fight we go through within ourselves. It's the courage it takes because when we make art, it's an expression of ourselves. So it takes courage to put an expression of yourself in the world. And I've heard Rick Rubin's is an artist. I hear him on Instagram. He always says, the only person you've got to please with your art, don't do it for someone else. That's when you get in trouble. Or you're doing it you got a producer or something and they're branding you. You have to, that's when you get lost. That's when you lose your uniqueness and what people love about your work. So the person you've got to please is yourself. And that's a great message in life, because if you please yourself, like if I like something, that's better for everyone else, because I'm giving them authenticity and that allows them to be authentic. Anyway, that was sort of
I love it.
A long way of going about it. But anyway, so we bought this place, and then the place next door came up to be sold.
Next door as in somewhere.
The guest house where you're staying.
There used to be a fence somewhere here.
Yeah. So you're in the guest house. So we bought that. And it was a really interesting project, because one house we had where we kept the structure, so you had boundaries. And I equate all this in architecture and design to life. Yes.
Oh, that was there.
That was there. That was an old 60s artist house.
Right.
And so that had boundaries already.
Yeah.
So I had to work within the confines of the structure that was there. And that was really fun. Like, I didn't realize how much fun that was going to be, because I couldn't just have an open slather. This was much more challenging because this was a blank canvas. But a bigger job required more artistry, required more, thinking out all the dots. That had the boundaries, but you still had to be creative and smart within being within the boundaries.
Different creativity, because you have boundaries. So some might say compromise, but another way to look at it is, well, it gives you opportunity to
create within that. It's like a budget. You got this budget, it makes you more creative. And that word, what was that word? Compromise. I hate that.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan.
I don't like that word.
I'm a big fan of win-win plus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 1 + 1 = 5.
Yes, exactly.
So tell me, while we're on this, and just so you know, my interviews never go where they were supposed to go.
I love that.
They just go, we're just off. I don't know where
it's
we are.
It's like life. I mean, what's the thing? What does God say? You make a plan and God laughs.
Exactly.
So I'm all over. We don't know where it's going to go. Who knows where
only because
we could end up at quantum physics. Who knows?
Quantum dentistry.
We could end up there. I may fall asleep if we go there, just carry on.
I need some quantum dentistry, I think, to fix up me. But tell me, that's great. So I love that you literally had the two opportunities for blank canvas and boundaries. I guess that's
like life.
Exactly right. Have you read my script already?
I can't. I'm a good intuit.
There's exactly right. That's like life. Sometimes you get the opportunity to do whatever the hell you want because it's all there, the resources or the space or the time, whatever the variables are. And then sometimes you've just got to work. It feels like a lot more. Maybe is it more of the time in life? It is about boundaries and adaptation. Like, is that a thing? I mean, how do you? It
just requires creativity. Every day requires creativity. How we fill our day requires creativity, and that is my lifeblood is creativity. I mean, everyone laughs at me. I mean, I set the table, and it's a party for me. I just laying the table because it's creativity. I mean, I paint and I design and I act and I want to direct and I have directed, but I'm going to do more directing. I love creativity, and I think that is the essence of all of us. I think there's an artist in all of us, and a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not an artist," and they don't think of themselves that way. But I think that's part of our life. We're meant to be creative.
Is that not? That's probably part of having purpose, isn't it? Like, I mean,
absolutely, your soul's purpose. Okay, what are we here for? Okay, we're there already. What are we here for? Let's go down that track. It's your soul's purpose. We have to work out. You have to be creative, all of us, to work out what our soul's purpose is, and then we've got to have the courage and the balls to want to fulfill that and do what we're sent in for. Some people don't. Fear stops us. What else stops us from pursuing what we should be doing? Fear of failure.
Yeah, always fear, I think. And that
circumstance. I mean, circumstance is, gosh, every day there's something thrown in our way. I mean, look at people in the Ukraine and Gaza. I mean, circumstances, is that a part of their souls? Are they going to grow from that pain? I mean, we all grow from pain, and some of us have a much bigger T trauma than the little T trauma. But, circumstance can't get in our way, but,
Well, and what other people think. There's often the fear, a lot of people.
Yeah, we all have fear of, that's judgment. Everyone's scared of, what is it? That's what I started with. You can't make art to think, oh, they like that. You got to make art for, do I like that?
Yeah.
Because that's all I got.
And fuck them.
Everyone else is taken. I just got me.
Yeah.
So, and you've got to put that up as an offering. This is me. This is what I have to offer. And if people like it, that's a bonus.
Well, I just love it. It's so. I thought I just thought you built that too, because it feels like you.
Very different. Oh no,
it's very different.
Very different. If you'd seen I'll show you the before and afters.
Yeah,
massive difference.
It's very different to everything else. We haven't. Thank you for the paddleboard this morning. That was so fun. I've never paddleboarded before.
What?
No.
And you're Australian.
Yeah, I know.
Outrageous behaviour.
Rude. How rude. I had to wait to get here to do it. But I'm so glad because it was so still. It's like glass.
Yeah, but we're facing the bay. It's just still, like I can just sit there at night. And I'm like ADD. I've always got to be entertained. I can just sit here and just look out at that and go, wow. And
there's not much going on out there. But there's
a few yachts.
Yeah, the odd bird, the shag jumping out of the water.
Yeah.
Lila got up, Lordy got up, I got up. It was fantastic. And we went up and down a little bit. But as we were saying last night, your house was quite different to anything else. And beautiful, I have to say. And there was Angelica, better than I.
I do. We go way back.
She can't help herself but go, I don't know why they didn't do that.
But see, we all have judgment.
I was doing that too, actually.
But that's it. We all have our own thing, and we've got to own it, and that's okay. I know. I look at that and I go, interesting choice.
I wouldn't do it, but hey.
And I think also, I mean, it is different to everything else, but I think you can't take your culture out of you either. Like when I did that house, someone said it feels very Australian. So, and I didn't plan to be Australian. I mean, I took influences from Japan and Morocco, whatever, but that's in my soul.
But this is kind of a bit timeless too. It's not going to like go, oh, that's an old style and that's kind of gone. Like this, it's very universally.
And it blends in with the environment. It's not obnoxiously out of.
No.
It really. I created the place with all the glass and the windows to invite the environment in. I utilized the environment.
Totally. Which Aussies are quite good at, aren't we?
Yeah, apparently.
We've got to be, we're out there. Our environment is bigger than us, generally.
Yeah.
Hey, talking about environments, I want to talk to you tell me about the first environment, as in day one, Deborah Lee appeared in, where did you appear in the world? Day one. Sydney?
Sydney, Annandale.
Really?
Yeah, born in Sydney.
I know you spent a lot of time in Melbourne, so I guess.
Oh, no, I grew up in Melbourne, but I was
think
born
Melbourne.
in Sydney.
Yeah, Annandale.
Yeah.
And what happened?
What
Was
happened?
it?
I don't remember.
You at home? You're in a hospital?
In a hospital. Don't really remember.
Annandale didn't have a hospital.
Yeah, it did.
Did it?
Yes.
No way.
Yes, it did. Well, I was born there. Mum told me it was a hospital. Born in Sydney, but earliest memory is that I grew up we moved to Melbourne. I was the daughter of a single mother, and due to the fact she had to work, I sort of, when I was very young, I was at boarding school in Daylesford, in Victoria countryside, which is now it's now an art gallery. And it was this convent, and I remember when I was little, it was this huge, massive convent with all the nuns. And then when I revisited, like in my 30s, and I sort of went, it's really small. It was this small place, and I remember walking up a staircase, and in the art gallery, and I went, oh my God, that was the infirmary. And I remember I had measles and mumps. In those days, you recovered from measles and mumps without too much trauma. And so it was really kind of wild going back there. But yes, I was out of necessity. I had to be in boarding school as a young girl, so I found my independence young.
And when you say young, you were bloody young.
Yeah, 5.
5.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know.
And in those days, it wasn't too unusual.
Yeah.
You know, I had a mother who had to provide, and she had to go to work.
And Mum, Faye, was like, she was some hours.
Gorgeous mum.
Some hours away. Like Dalesford's not like
an hour.
Okay, so that's still far enough.
She would always come up and visit. And, yeah.
Wow. And was that? Can you remember how that was for you? Apart from,
I didn't want to be there. I don't know. Many 5-year-olds don't want to be away, but it was again out of necessity, out of circumstance. That was, and I think it gave me, all the things that we see as the negatives in our life actually give us our strengths. I had to learn how to be independent. I had to learn to advocate for myself. So at a young age, so there's negatives and positives with every experience that you take on, which you choose to utilize. And I hate wasting anything, time, resources. So I am not going to waste my pain or my anything that was negative in my life and not turn it into a positive.
What happened? Not what happened. How was your experience? How did your experience there? And you were there from 5 till when? At what age?
Couple of years.
Yeah.
Couple of years.
And what can you remember? What you took away from that? Like what positives?
How to escape.
Literally.
I think I remember plotting with one of the other young girls, like, right, we can pinch some tins of baked beans. I forgot to think about the thing you open the baked beans with, but we had them stacked under our bed ready to make our escape into the woods. And we thought that was where my adventurer was born, I think. We never quite made it out of the convent, but we planned it. So I was creative from a young age.
Anything else that you sort of learned? Obviously, well, not obviously, I think you might have mentioned there before, adventure, but you said, didn't say survival?
Understanding.
Understanding, yeah.
Yeah, well, I had to be very understanding as a young child that this was necessary for my mother and I to survive. So I had to be understanding. And so I learned that young, and I've sort of carried that through, and I need to chill out a bit on that. I'm learning now that I have to be understanding for Deb.
So when you say, so back then...
Prioritize yourself.
Yeah, so you were like, understanding as in accepting or...
Acceptance.
And I guess there's trust as well. Mm. Like they tell you something, whether it's, mum or teachers or whatever, whoever in life, and you go, oh, okay, I'll trust. Yeah. Trust it. But you said something interesting last night about trust.
Yeah. It's like, I think because I was such a young child, I had to trust because I didn't have a backup plan. So I may have easily given away trust because I always think of myself as very trusting, and my friends give me slack about, oh, Deborah, you trust everyone, you think the best of everyone, and blah, blah. But I have a little bit of a control freak in me, which opposes that trust. Like if you're controlling something, you don't trust. But I think that's just some little bit like my way's the best way. That's why I try and organize it. I'm a director, and I love to organize, and I suppose, and I just like it, as we all do, you want it to go the way you think it'll work best, and you always think you're always the best way. So, yeah, the controlling and the trusting is sort of, it's nuanced.
Yeah, I guess everyone does have, I'm not saying not trust issues, but it is, everyone finds their own
But we
balance.
shouldn't trust too easily. We should, we need discernment.
Discernment.
And you know what I'm really now trusting, which I don't think I always did, your gut and your intuition. It's and I read this the other day somewhere, that it's when you have a feeling or a gut feeling about something, it's your soul whispering to your heart to pay attention. Because usually I've found that usually I'm right when I don't listen to my gut.
Are there times that you can tell us about that where you can refer back to, whether it's maybe it's a film you did or didn't do, that you might have had a gut feeling and you went, maybe your brain took over, because that's often.
That's ego, brain, mind is very powerful. Gut, mind, ego. No, because it's like you learn. I believe you, because you did it or you didn't do it, that's how it was meant to be. So there is, that's what happens. So you're getting a lesson out of it, whether you didn't do it or you did do it. There's still a lesson in everything.
And they say,
and it's like people come. I don't believe in this accidents. Like you just, it's so amazing I met that person. No, it was meant to be, and they will teach you something.
And you've got a good, what'd you say, radar?
Yeah, I think I've got a good radar. Sometimes it's been a bit off. But yeah, no, when I don't trust my gut, then it goes off. Blew it.
Well, they often say that, the biggest regrets people have are the things they don't do.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to what they did do.
Jeff Bezos, Mr. Amazon, I mean, he's the richest man in the world, and he's obviously not silly. He said stress is really only when you don't do what you know you should do. And I hate the word should, but what is right for you to do. Stress is when you don't take the opportunities, or you, through fear or whatever, that's stress.
And they're often the gut, Yeah. Gets back to that.
Yeah.
So schooling, foundational experience, and then where did you go to another boarding school, or you went just sort of into, non-boarding primary school?
No, I lived with a friend of mine just Monday to Friday while she worked, and I'd be home on weekends. So the first 4 years of my life were unconventional. Like the first therapist I ever went to said, "Tell me about your childhood." I said, "I was pretty normal." Then I told him my deal. He goes, "That's not normal." I went, "Oh, really? What else do we know?" That's all I knew. So, yeah, but I always felt a bit different because I didn't have a father, and, we were an unconventional family. So I always felt different. So I went into a business, obviously, where you feel different.
Yeah,
you're an actor, and you're.
Is that a thing? We did talk about we did a lot of groundwork last night, didn't we? And
this is not rum, everyone. This is Coke.
It's a very dark wine.
Yeah.
Ange has always said that actors, and her being one, so she's saying it with all due respect and with her own understanding. Often, I don't know. Yeah, that's a thing that they.
We have a healthy need for validation. Can I put it that way?
Totally. By being
actors,
someone else.
But any you look at actors, you look at artists, you look at musicians. Anyone in the arts is using that form of expression, and I suppose in other fields, but it seems more predominant in the arts. I think it's a way of exorcising our pain. Everyone has pain, and everyone finds a way of how to work with that pain, work with it, because it's going to be there. We all have it. No one's getting out of this life without a little bit of pain.
No, well, that's
so we have to know how to work with it, and we all have varying degrees. And I think a lot of people in the arts, like we're applauding, and that's Gabor Mate speaks about this. We're out there applauding people who are famous and doing things, and a lot of time we're celebrating a dysfunction, and it's sending a wrong message to the next generation.
We're feeding the
beast of ego, or feeding the beast of, there are people out there that need the validation so bad, but it's costing them themselves. They're betraying their innate essence, to be fed what they think they need. So, and I just see a lot of people in the world, we're celebrating dysfunction. It's nuanced.
But how do we get around that? I mean, as a viewer of movies and and appreciating art, because I guess often,
Of course, and I'm not saying
no, not.
But it's like congruence. You can be an artist, but it's finding where it's the intention of why you're doing what you're doing, why you need to paint that painting, why you need to do that. If that is your passion and you need to say something and it's working for you, yes. But it's when we get off track and ego takes over, and then you're at war with yourself because you're not doing it for you, or you're doing it for either money or the wrong reasons. So it's always coming back to ourselves, staying on soul's purpose as to everything we do. We should really think about, why am I doing this? And a lot of times we're just mindlessly just, oh yeah, I'm a plumber, I'm just going to go to work. And maybe your soul's dying inside. He doesn't want to be a plumber. But it takes courage to step out of what whatever box we've put out. We box ourselves into these constructs that we get stuck in there. And it takes a lot of courage to jump out of that box and that construct and think, is this what I want? Am I in my bliss? Am I lit up? Am I turned on by life?
So for, say, actors who are, validating themselves, and as in your words,
the butcher's validating himself.
We all are. Yeah.
It's not just
I guess as farmers, like I try and not be. I don't like to. I often say I am not what I do. No. I don't want my farming to define me. It's hard not to be defined by that, and because
it's just your bliss.
I do cows and sheep and that sort of thing.
But you're following your bliss. That's what you're attracted to. That's what gives you joy, I'm assuming.
Oh, definitely. But again, as long as I'm not doing it so that people keep thinking I'm a farmer. You know what I mean, though?
That's when you're not congruent, and that's when you're out of line, and that's when you have stress, and that's when you get dis-ease.
So when you're at the top of your game in acting, how does one? Is that where are the opportunities for someone to turn that around?
Turn it around. And top of the game to me is when you're happy.
Okay.
If you're at the top of the game and you're miserable, that's not success. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people who are at the top of their game and they're struggling more than not. They're struggling.
And again, is that?
And it just makes sense. Like the most successful people in the world, there's a drive. What's driving you to have more? And when do we know that that's enough? And we have to honor our value system. What's my values is not necessarily someone else's values. And maybe someone else's values is to be the richest person in the world or the best actor in the world or the best for their need. As long as you're living within your own integrity, that's when you're successful.
Is that when maybe boundaries can be a good thing?
Boundaries. We all struggle with boundaries. Hey, I'm a parent. Let me tell you, we struggle with boundaries. And a lot of us are brought up in our culture to be people pleasers. And it's very dangerous being a people pleaser because you betray your own needs and then you end up hurting other people because you're doing it for the wrong reason. It builds resentment. Like this, it goes up. It's like a domino effect. So boundaries are. We feel sometimes, like the other day someone said, "Hi, Deb, you want to come to Greece?" I went, "No." I didn't even say why. I didn't want to go to Greece. And that's a boundary. Like I'm looking after myself now. And like a lot of times, like you have to come up with an excuse. I can't come to tea. Or maybe you just don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And you're doing a favor because if you do go to the place that someone's asking you to pleasing them, you resent them. So you're doing them a disservice too. They don't want to be resented. So I'm the Sagittarius, like your wife, and we're very honest. And it saves a lot of time.
Tell me about it.
But it's better in the long run.
You're dead right.
And we talked about it last night. Like if someone triggers you, if they say something, well, that was great. Like now I try, like if someone says something and it pisses me off, I'm like, a good way of doing it with someone close is to say thank you, because it's obviously something you need to work on within you. So you go and go, why that? That's an opportunity. And this is my evolution of where I'm getting to now. Like if something triggers me, it's not personal. It's not about that person, oh, they're an asshole or whatever. It's something in you, and it's the opportunity for you to go and go, oh, okay. And you look at it, dissect it, set it free.
So you're clearly very conscious of that. I mean, you strike me as a very conscientious sort of person anyway. Like you're not dissimilar to Anne's, and apart from being Sagittarians, where you've done the work, and it's not just recently. You've been, I get a sense that you've been doing the work. You've been taking the work, as in your life and your own development, seriously for a long time. Right? It's not something.
I think that's why I became an actor. I became an actor because I wanted to understand the human condition, and I'm all about connection. I love this. That's where I'm a true extrovert. Like that's where I get my. There's introverts that they need the peace. I need the people and conversation and that to light up. So I became an actor. I think I have to dissect when I read a script. I have to go, who is this person? Why do they do that? Why do they do that? And it helps me understand people, and that to me is really interesting.
Has there been a role that you remember where you took the most away from in terms of understanding the human condition or understanding yourself, that you went, oh my God, that was such a great character, I really got into it and it really helped me navigate X, Y, and Z? Is there one that stands out?
It's like picking your favourite child.
No, it's not listening anyway.
It's a little cheap. You know what? I learn from even the duds. I will learn from the dud films. Yeah. So, no, I don't think there is one particular. There's one that I love doing more than. I mean, the film Shame, which I did 30 years ago, which still they just recently showed in New York, which is about justice, because I hate injustice. And this is about a strong female. I loved that it was a strong female. She was a great role model for young girls. She rides into town on a motorbike rather than the usual guy on the horse in the Western. It's a chick on a motorbike, comes to town and seeks justice. And everyone thinks, oh, that was easy character. It wasn't. She was very contained. Her energy was very contained but it was a power. And I had to find, because usually I'm out there, and I'm more forthcoming. And she was a contained energy, so I had to learn how to find a power within very little words on the page. So that was a challenge to get across who this character was without the words, just with, And the film I directed, I wrote a short film, and I wrote it, and none of the characters had dialogue. Because I thought that as a filmmaker, I need to tell this story. And what a challenge to tell the story without dialogue. And I used music, and every character had a fugue of music. And it was just the actors to tell the story, and it gave it an extra edge and a different way of going about it. So, and as an actor, the words are just the icing. You should be able to turn the sound down and watch and know exactly. Like we do as people. Like, I meet you. I've already, within minutes of being a new person, the body language of this and that, I've summed it up before you've even opened your mouth. And we all do that. Yeah. Don't you agree? You meet someone and you get a vibe straight off.
And I think the chicks are, look, it's a bit of a cliche. The chicks tend to be better than the boys.
What do they call women's intuition?
Yeah, totally.
I think we were given that gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think...
I don't know what that is.
I don't want to be sexist, but the guys are...
Black and white.
Challenged in some areas.
Totally. No, shit, yeah. No, I'm one of them. I learn.
You have other stuff I suppose you're good at. I don't know. I'm not a guy. I don't know what it is.
I can, build shit every now and
so
again.
So can I.
I can.
Carpentry was one of my passions when I was in my 20s. I had a tool belt. Used to walk around my apartment with a tool belt. My first thing I built was a recycle bin. The slats, I lived with two guys, and they laughed at me and thought I was ridiculous, and I did this whole thing. Then we had a big party. The talk of the party was my recycle bin, because I had slats.
You surprised really cool. them. Shut up, boys.
Yeah, and I was like,
can do this.
Excuse me.
I can do this shit with the tool belt.
You gave me shit, and look at that.
Look, it's not a competition.
See, I'm very competitive. Backgammon, tennis. I love competition.
I know. Well,
I've got that. I had it since I was a kid. I love sports. I love competition because it You know why I love competition? Because it pushes you to be better.
Hey, let's get back to, I know, boring old school, but I always find it's such a formative time in people's lives. And did you do subjects in school? Did you do electives or whatever they're called that sort of were heading you towards a particular vocation at school?
Straight, you just did your reading, writing, arithmetic. There was no electives, but I knew what I was good at.
What was that?
And I was geography, forget about it. Estuaries, lakes, lagoons, rivers. I never got bodies of water. I know my swimming pool. I'm not good on the bodies of water.
Not good with the peninsulas.
No,
isthmus.
Don't get it. Don't get any of it.
Not yours.
So geography I was really bad at. Numbers to this day is just like Russian. It's like I'm not good with math.
That's a bit like
okay, so maybe it's a Sagittarian thing.
It might be.
Yeah.
It's just like, nah.
Yeah, details. I'm not a detail. I'm big vision, and I want to play with the big strokes. History I loved. Art, of course, I loved, and English. But I'd say I was, the arts, and I was slack at school because I was too busy, being the class clown, and
down the back having ciggies.
Yeah, and I was sort of not that. Like I remember literally for an English exam, standing as we were walking in to do the exam, and I said, "What was the book about?" Give me the overall thing, and literally got the overall thing, and then just wrote, got an A+.
Good on you.
I could wing it productions in English.
Smarty pants.
But put me in the math thing, I just put my name on the paper and walked out of it. Let's cut
You
to
actually
the
marked
chase.
it for the guy who had D.
Yeah, I just put my name on the paper and said, "See," I walked out of the class.
So was secondary school happy? Was it fun? Was it Melbourne?
Melbourne. Okay, I got to tell you, I'm one of those kids, and that's challenging. I went to, I'd say, about 10 schools. Oh. So I think that's probably what my social skills are good, because I was always the new kid. I was always the new kid in school. So, and that's hard when you're young and you're just sort of developing who you are. Yeah.
That was through necessity?
Everyone thought my mother was a diplomat, but I think she just liked to decorate. So we always, like myself, we do a new apartment. Yeah.
Moving around.
Yeah.
So that school's close now, so you'll go to that one.
Yeah.
So that was that a positive experience? I mean, your people skills are fantastic.
To me, it wasn't. I was always I had to make new friends. I was a new kid in school. I had to make new friends. So again, I'm good at turning the negatives into positives. What I take out of it.
Did you have any tactics on how to make friends? Can you remember?
Make them laugh. Make them laugh. I think I was chubby. So, yeah, I had to be funny. That's where I think I got my humour skills.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, but I'm fun.
That'll work.
Yeah.
So finished school, making friends. And
passed.
Passed. Anything more than 1%, 51%, that's one extra.
No, I did well. I got good grades.
Yeah, good. I don't think you got the A's in English.
Yeah, no, but my mum's. I went to Methodist Ladies College, and I had Saturday detention every week. But you know what it was for? Because my hat wasn't on right, or my socks were down, and you get a Saturday detention. And I was always sort of in trouble because I talked too much in class. Nothing serious. And I remember, maybe 10 years ago, MLC asked me to come back and be the speaker for the girls, and my mother said, "If you don't do anything else, please do." It was her greatest moment that MLC asked me back because I was always in trouble, and she was like, "Oh, finally, I was a good kid."
You've been redeemed.
Yeah, I've been redeemed.
What message did you have for them? Because they're often quite,
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it?
No, it was only because of necessity. I was in America at the time.
I couldn't
do it. But just the fact that I was asked.
Yeah, that was good. If you were going to tell them something, what would you have said?
Good question.
I'm full of them. Sometimes.
I would say follow your bliss. Be authentic. Tell the truth to yourself and others. Be honest, and don't do what you think you should do, like all your parents. A lot of these kids are doing what their doctors want their kids to be doctors or whatever. And if you go against what's in your heart, it backfires and you'll end up unhappy, sad, and then you can get sick.
That's often, for an 18-year-old girl, and Oh, look, I don't know. Girls
And who knows what they want to do at 18?
That's the thing. I mean, I'm not saying that's not good advice. I think it's great advice. I'm just wondering if I heard that. I can't remember anything that anyone ever told me that was of value, which would have been of value. I'm sure I heard lots of it, but at 18,
What, you think you just go partying and that's it?
well, yeah, maybe. Like, are our ears
Maybe
ready?
you need to do that to realise that that's just got nothing for you.
Get out of your system.
Yeah, so it's, maybe that's it. No, but that's why I do love the American system of college, because you have to do, like in America, in Australia, you go straight, if you're going to be a doctor, you go straight to med school. In America, you do 4 years of college, and it gives you of just general college. So it gives you the chance to go to the science department, to the woodwork department, to the design department, and it gives you an opportunity as an independent, away from your parents again, to find yourself. And
it's not all about the curriculum of
you're trying it's like you're trying it out. It's a buffet. It's a buffet. And I know people have gone to college thinking they're going to do psychology, and they end up in the engineering department going, oh, wow.
Is that so? Anyone goes to uni over here, university, they call it university,
yeah, college.
That's what they go to do. I mean, no,
you do 4 years of, you've got to do a
general, sort of,
and there's all you say. You pick electives. I want to try engineering. I want to try biochem.
And you can
I want to try 3D printing.
So you can do an array of different things.
Yeah.
Without going on to do engineering.
Yeah, you don't have at 18. I don't know what kid. You might think that's what you're going to do because your parents think you're stuck in med school for the next 9 years, and then you wake up one day and go, I should have been a dancer.
So 18. Did you go to college? Uni? Did you do
I came to New York.
At 18?
No. At 18, I did what every Aussie does.
Don't skip a year.
I backpacked around Europe.
Good on you.
I did the whole Europe thing, did all that. And I said I wanted to be an actress. And my mother said, if you want to be an actress, you've got to do something as a backup plan, because it's not exactly the most stable industry. So she made me do a secretarial course. And I did the secretarial course, and I got a job out of that at Channel 9 News for the director. I was the secretary to the director of news. And let's just say we all have different skill sets. That wasn't mine. And we did shorthand in those days to take a letter. And I'd do that for him, and he'd say, and I was like, hang on, and I was sure. And then in the end, he'd just say, Deb, don't worry, I'll call the back. And I was terrible at it, but he really liked me. So I worked in the newsroom for a bit.
Was
everyone laugh.
Was this before the backpacking?
After.
So hang on. So the backpacking Europe fun.
Yeah.
Footloose.
Oh, hang on. Was it before or after? I can't remember. No, I think I went to Europe as my first year, then came back, did the secretarial, then did that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then from that, I got asked to be in a women's current affair program as a researcher, and I was going to go into journalism and, interview people. I started doing that. No. Then I went to Europe. Then I did my year. Okay. It was after that, because I went, I don't know. And that's when I did. And then I went off to Europe, and that's when I realized, no, I want to be an actress.
What about?
And then I went to New York, and I auditioned at different schools, and I was accepted to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Wow. And I came back, worked as a door bitch in a few nightclubs, except I was terrible at that too, because I just let everyone in because I felt sorry for them.
You forgot to
there was no discernment. Come in, you're welcome. I was a terrible door bitch.
You'd be like, are you drunk? No, well, get away. You just come back when you're drunk. What about, so what was it about traveling in Europe that got you thinking, I want to be an actor?
I was always going to be an actor. I only remember I did the secretarial course as a backup. Yeah. But then I thought, okay, if you're serious about this, do something. You have to take action if that's what you want to do. And I think, traveling around Europe, and you're, open to cultures and meeting people and all that. And that's when I got serious. And I went back to Australia, worked for 3 jobs as a door bitch, saved up the money, and went back, and I think I was early 20s, and I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and that's when I fell in love with New York. I remember calling home to my mother saying, oh my gosh, Mom, I was misplaced at birth. This is my tribe. Because New York, it was so A-type personalities, and it was noise and busy, and I just fell in love with New York.
Can you, just before we go back to New York, can you remember the nightclubs you used to work in?
Inflation.
Was it Melbourne?
Underground, Inflation, this is shows my age. Inflation, the Underground, and the Bowie Hotel in Beaumaris.
The Bowie Hotel. So New York.
I had a crush on the security guard.
What happened to him?
No idea.
What's his
Hi,
name?
if you're watching.
Trevor.
What's his name? But obviously it wasn't a deck crash. I can't remember his name. Shane. I think it was Shane.
Shane.
Sure, it had to be Shane.
Shane, if you're listening to this. Things could have been
We
different.
could have been different, Shane.
So New York. And was it specifically New York where you could go to London and New York?
All my friends who were studying acting were in London.
Yeah.
And I had been to London, and it's like people. It's your flavour, it's not. London was not my flavour. Everyone was too polite. That's what I loved about New York. Everyone was like, just said it how it is. Not unlike, I think it was similar to Australia. New York is a very straightforward, very upfront. London was too polite and too aggressive for me. I'm like, what's the subtext? Everyone's just, what?
There is none.
I like scones, jam and cream, though.
We were in New York, went to Tea and Sympathy. You used to go there with
On Greenwich, yeah.
Yeah. So good.
So good.
So yummy. Lovely.
Who doesn't
scones.
love a good scone? I got to make scones again.
I reckon they're a little bit harder. A little bit on the hard side. We think
they call those biscuits. Here, scones are called biscuits. And they have it with chili.
No, they're still a scone.
It's still a scone. Oh, tea and sympathy. But too hard?
Too hard.
Yeah. Well, we can get back to regenerative farming. You know, it's the flour, it's the soil, it's everything that goes in to make that scone.
I couldn't taste.
But it's in the soil and all the ingredients.
It's not about me. It's about you. Stop changing.
Okay, sorry.
Now tell me, how many years was that?
3.
3.
Loved every minute of it. Felt like I was in the middle of the world. I was wild, outrageous. I partied and I had actually my roommate and some friends here to the house a few weeks ago.
Yeah, cool.
Like, that's a long friendship. We still know each other. It was such a shared experience, and you're young and you have dreams and you're in New York, and, you know, it was scary because and people be surprised to hear this, I was a little bit shy, and I think I chose acting too because it scared me. I like to do things that scare me because I don't want to be scared. So I think one of my big mojos in life is to overcome. I put things in my path to overcome.
G'day. Have you ever been curious about how to start a carbon project on your farm and what is involved with implementing a carbon project? Or what is this crazy carbon sequestration stuff anyway? We're hosting a field day here at Hannah Minnow on the 10th of December, partnering with Atlas Carbon, with whom we have a carbon project. It'll start from 10, finish at 3. There'll be 2 hours in the morning of a bit of a Q&A with myself and Cole Phelan from Atlas Carbon and Bart Davidson from Atlas Carbon. In the afternoon from 1 till 3, there'll be a bit of a paddock tour. The boys are going to bring a sampling machine to actually pull a core, as they say, to check out what's happening with our soil. You know, plenty of opportunity for Q&A with Cole and Bart and myself. And after 3 p.m, there are a few refreshments. So it's totally catered for. You'll be tea and coffee when you get there, lunch 12 to 1, and some refreshments after 3 o'clock. The registrations do close on the 5th of December, the Friday before, so don't muck around. Get yourself a seat on the Mire Grazing Field Day here at Hannah Minnow on the 10th of December. This episode of The Regenerative Journey is brought to you by Dr. Libby Weaver, nutritional biochemist and best-selling author, and also previous guest on The Regenerative Journey. Iron deficiency is the most common deficiency in the world, yet it's so often overlooked. In her latest book, Fix Iron First, Dr. Libby shares why iron is vital not just for energy, but also for mood, sleep and resilience, and how to restore your levels naturally. Learn more or order your copy at drlibby.com. That's drlibby.com. And don't forget to use the code Charlie15 for 15% off. So you do think that you were, what did you say, scared? No, you were...
Katie, baby. It's my beautiful pup.
Little hound. Well, that's my pen lid. You just said before that you were not scared. What did you say? You didn't say introvert. It's not an introvert. Shy.
It's a part of, we're all not one flavour.
Yeah, totally. But how? So was again the acting like? Was that something you sensed and you went, "This is going to let me overcome"?
Yeah,
that shyness.
Yeah, and I want it, and it, and I'd always been the class clown because I was a new kid in school, and then someone said one day something like, "Oh, you should do that," and I went, You're going to pay me for this stuff? It was just like, okay, I'll give it a whirl.
I can do this.
Oh, I can do this.
How are you when someone's as gregarious as you? Because I know people who are gregarious and they're always, but when someone is more, they back out.
What?
Well, I know people who are really gregarious
Yeah.
at a party or anywhere, and then when someone's even more gregarious, they kind of they can't handle it because they're not the most gregarious at the party, so they're out of there. They go for a swim. I can't imagine you doing that, but it's an interesting character trait.
Gregarious. I'm just me. And I'm not. Even though I say I'm competitive, but if another person is that, I go, oh, look at him.
Celebrate.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. It's like, that's interesting. It's either interesting or it's not. I'm either drawn to it or I'm not. It's not a competition as far as who we are with our personality traits, and we're attracted to certain people.
So 3 years, were you working at the same time?
Yes.
Can you?
Yes.
No. Yeah.
It was illegal. Don't tell me about me. But I think I was allowed to work a certain amount of hours a day because I was an international student. Yes, and I worked in a health club at the desk, and
so, but no acting.
Oh, and I did phone work. Like, hi, this is Deb Lee-Furness. I'm calling from the rope call, because I used to try it on my American accents so I could do my homework as I was making $2 an hour. So I did dumb jobs.
And then, so you weren't acting, is it one of those things to do like community work or some stage stuff within that 3 years?
You weren't allowed.
Really?
Yeah.
You just had to get through the work.
Yeah.
What was the next year? Did you come back? Did you go, I'm going to go straight out onto the
No, well,
stage?
actually, this is hilarious. When we got out of school, I got an agent at the end of school, because you get it every year. People get eliminated, and in the end, the third year, it was only about 30 of us, and started a couple of hundred. So agents are invited to our end of year plays, and I got an agent. Anyway, so they rang me one day and said, Deborah, it's an audition. I thought, great, and blah, 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 and you have to prepare a song. And I said, excuse me? And they said to prepare a song. And I said, I don't sing. What do you mean a song? Like, Deborah, you're just starting out. You have to go for everything. And I went, oh, okay. So I go to this audition. I was terrified. My knees were banging together that I had to sing for a musical. And I was only ever thinking, I didn't expect to get the job. I just was doing it as an exercise. And I chose this song that I could act, which is whatever Lola wants, Lola gets, a little man, little Lola wants you. And I was flying across the stage on my knees, and I just acted like this, ballsy sort of showgirl. Anyway, I was terrified before I did it. I did it, and I was like, thank you very much. And I left, and I was like, oh, my God, I did it. I get a call that night. You got the part. And I'm like, hang on. You're telling me I got the lead in a musical and I can't sing. And I'm telling all my mates at school that I got the part, and they're all like, Deb, that's awesome. I'm like, is nobody listening? I can't sing. And it was like such a huge thing, because I was the first person to get a job out of school. And so I thought, I've got to do this. And so I showed up first day rehearsal. I thought, this is going to be humiliating. Anyway, when they came to me, they said, because it was off Broadway, and they said, we're really sorry, but your work papers aren't in place. We can't let you do the part. And I went, what a bummer. Bye. And I was out of there. I was thrilled. But everyone always laughed about it. Like, I got the lead in the musical.
Did you do any after that? That was your first?
No. And then I got my work papers in order, and I got a dinner theatre in New Jersey, which was, this is how you get into Screen Actors Guild. And every day an ambulance would come, because most of the people at the dinner theatre were in their 80s, and someone would fall over or something. So
You'd have to stop your bid.
Someone would carry it out every day. But I got my Screen Actors Guild card.
So what was the next one? What was the?
Then I went for a holiday to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, I'm down there, because I was so trained that, as an actor, you just, and when I was down there, I rang all the agents that I'm Deb Lee and I do this, and I just was very proactive, because that's how we were taught in school.
Age what, roughly? Age
25, 6. Anyway, so I rang around, and I only went down there for a holiday, and then I kept getting. I got films after film. Then I got 3 films at once, and they're like, this is how conscientious I was. They said, oh, well, you've got 2, but you can't do that because that one's there. And I said, I can get a helicopter and that can take me there on that day. And I was like, you do what you do to make it happen.
Got to get it done.
Anyway, so I just kept getting jobs in Australia and I couldn't get back to New York because I just kept working. And then I got a play and that was supposed to run 3 months and that ran 9 months. It was a huge hit.
What was that one?
Torch Song Trilogy.
Sweet. In Mel Vegas?
Yes, in Mel Vegas.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Oh, that's right. When I did Shame, that was shot in Western Australia. This is a long time ago. With Shame, they took me to back to America to do all the promotion for it because it was going to get an international release. And so I went back to America. I remember coming because I went to school in New York. It was my hometown. And they didn't tell me. And as I'm driving into Times Square, I'm like, yay, New York, Times Square. And I'm looking around. Then I look up and there's this huge billboard of me in leathers as the character in Times Square. And I was like, oh, my God. And then Mum said, take a picture. And I said, I haven't got a camera. She said, buy one. It's not every day you get a billboard in Times Square. So I went back to America with that and ended up getting film offers in LA. So I lived in LA for a while. I was doing movies in LA and in Australia, and I was sort of bouncing between the two.
I think Ange, she was in LA at around that time.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember exactly when. I wasn't on the scene then.
It was pre-Charlie.
Pre-Charlie.
She was a wild woman.
It was BC. It was
BC
before Charlie. And so how was that? Were you like just? Did you ever stop and go, oh my God? Like 1 minute I'm, finishing school, and then the next you're trans-Pacific.
I loved it. I loved the life of being an actor. I loved being on the road, and we had a house in LA, and it was all the actors there. It was like the Gumleaf Mafia. My house was sort of like all the parties were there, and there was a whole gang of us there. It was Nicole was sleeping on the floor, and we were all just having fun, and going for auditions and doing jobs and going between the two. So it was exciting, and I had a great time.
And then back. So what was the next big step? You didn't do any theatre?
No.
No.
Oh, I did do theatre. Yes, I did. I did Scar with Ed Harris.
Oh, cool.
Still don't know what the play's about. Anyway, I don't think the playwright does either. Oh, hope you're not watching, guys.
But what was there a reason you just didn't?
And I did that. That was in Koreatown, and that was the night of the big riots. I remember we had to sleep in the theatre for the night. Yeah, in Koreatown. Yeah.
And was there a reason why you didn't sort of do the theatre, pursue more theatre work?
I much prefer film. Theatre, it's like it's too monotonous for me. It scares me. It's like because I really battle with stage fright sometimes. Like it happened when I did theatre. When Torch Song Trilogy, I forgot my lines one night. 6 months in, and this happens to actors, and it's like trauma. It's like PTSD, and you go, oh. But theatre in the beginning was my thing. I was never going to do film, and then I just love film. I love the intimacy of film, and that's when my passion for, I think, wanting to be a filmmaker, because I would always be on the set as the actor. I should be too short. I do that and da, and I love because it's like a canvas. So that's at the moment I'm working on a script, which is third draft. I had Rebecca Rigg, who is an Australian ex-actress, a writer, who we wrote it. Together. She wrote the screenplay. I came up with all the characters, and now I'm editing that in order to direct that, because I think that's what I really want to be when I grow up.
What,
amongst other things?
Yeah. What? Can you tell us a bit about it? Like,
yeah. Well, when I was like, I wanted to direct, I thought, okay, what do I want to say? And I can't just do. It has to have a purpose. Everything I do has to have a purpose, and I thought, what do I want to learn about and what fascinates me? And I am fascinated with epigenetics. I'm fascinated with intergenerational trauma. It doesn't have to be trauma, just inheritance, because I see people repeating patterns in their families, random things, repeat generation after generation. Plus, I have 2 adopted children. So, I always say at our table it's more interesting, because we haven't all got the same ancestors. We've got different cultures in there, different ancestors. There's a lot going on. And I just think there's a book by Mark Wolynn, another good book. It Didn't Start With You. Because we think, what, like an example, why do I hate anchovies? And you find out your great grandmother's an opera singer and she choked on an anchovy. It's like we're still carrying stuff, and and that's what in this lifetime there are people who are the generational breakers. Like, generation after generation, maybe there's bad luck with finances, whatever, and you can be the one that breaks the generational trauma if you do the work. If you come into this lifetime and do the works necessary to heal the wounds of your ancestors.
Can you tell us?
That's kind of out there, but
no, I love it.
You lost your pillow.
No, I lost my pillow.
Get your pillow.
That's all right. I love it because it fascinates me. So tell me.
And I think now that used to be woo-woo, but now I think people are really recognizing it's a science, epigenetics,
Totally.
And it's like they talk about the gene that you carry the gene for certain diseases, whatever, but really you're carrying the trauma, and you may not get whatever disease your great grandfather had because you're not in an environment that opens that gene up. It's not an environment to thrive or to open up. Yeah, express. That's the word I was looking for.
So do you know? Tell me about, I guess, the science behind it. Maybe not all the, because it is quite involved. Kind of a whether you call it a mechanism or concept of a 3 generations ago, a grandmother who, has a thing about anchovies. And do we even know?
I've got story. Well, the other day, and I'm not going to say it's hard because I don't want to share people's personal stories. Something as bizarre as there's a family where the mother's sister is 10 years apart from her, the daughter's sister's their daughters are 10 years apart, and now both the daughters have children that are 10 years apart. That's pretty random. I've heard of another woman who lost her leg in a motorcycle accident, and her mother did the same thing. And you say, what? How? That's like a physical thing. Yeah. But when you think of the law of attraction and manifestation, I believe, and Louise Hayes, who's no longer alive, she wrote the book You Can Heal Your Own Life. She ties every disease into an emotional root cause. So, that represents, say it's the knee, that represents in emotional terms taking the next step forward. So it manifests in a very violent way or in a physical manner. So I've heard of too many instances, or people, another friend of mine, her great-grandmother got screwed in business, her grandma got screwed in business, she got screwed in business. They attract that because there's something energetically that we inherit, and we attract positive and negative circumstance. And if you can be the generational breaker if you realize that and you take steps to change that. Betrayal, a line of betrayal within a family, and the betrayal continues, and we attract people who betray us, and it's because that it's epigenetically in our energetic field.
It's almost like what we know. We're attracted to what we know, even though what we know isn't necessarily good for us.
Well, it happens. You see, people that are children of domestic violence, and they end up marrying a guy that beats them up because that's familiar. They know that it's recognizable, so they feel in a bizarre, perverse way safe within that because that's what they know.
It's normal. How does one break that? I mean, can you
break
it? Yeah.
You do the work. You recognize the pattern. You recognize what you're doing to perpetrate that still happening, and it takes courage to be a generational breaker. It takes courage, and usually, you're forced into it through trauma. A trauma makes you wake up, and that trauma is even created, I believe, by the universe to go, hey, snap out of it, as Cher would say. Like, wake up. Look at what's happening. A trauma, again, I always turn the negatives into play. A trauma is the portal to make you see life differently. We after we experience trauma, we are changed. And you can either sink or you rise up.
We always have that choice, don't we?
Yes, we do have that choice, but we have to be brave enough to make that choice. Maybe because of people's woundings, they can't make that choice because they haven't, they're content. It's so nuanced, again, as I say, but you get
Oh, totally.
Yeah, the construct.
So that was your screenplay has.
I hope that
that's a theme.
Yeah, and the screenplay is because I want to direct. I want that canvas to play on. I love working with actors. I love, all the aspects of filmmaking. The visual. It's like it's like decorating a house. It's like creating an environment, and then I love relationships. I love how people interact, and I want to put something out there that is controversial, that is not people still think this is wackadoodle, but if I can put it in a way, and I want it to be both profound, like a black comedy is my favorite genre because you have to laugh. We can't get too serious, and some stuff is really serious. But if we can find that opening of humor, and that's a way of us letting off steam too, and I want people, the characters that I've created are so diverse, and I believe everyone will see themselves in at least one of those characters.
Will you have to do research, like whether it's like almost scientific research, to get the kind of the nuances? What do you think your own life experiences are enough for you to navigate how to really portray the whole concept of
If I was really conscientious, I would do all that work, but I reckon I can wing it. I reckon that when I say wing it, I work from the way I work is from my heart, what I feel, what I think. But no, I am I'm speaking to doctors, and I'm speaking to experts in the field of epigenetics, and I'm speaking to, people who work in the area of wellness, who do somatic healing and help people through their trauma, so that they've seen firsthand through their work with the body what people are carrying. We carry all this in our body. No idea. We have no idea. Like, why is my neck like this? And then you find out, your boyfriend left you at 17, you're still carrying the rejection, because I'm a big advocate of kinesiology, which I think is amazing. It's a way of reading the body. The body doesn't lie. And through, what kinesiology is, muscle testing and asking questions of the body will take, the truth is everything we've got is here, but we're all outsourcing, thinking someone else knows better than us, the doctors or the thing. And I think that we actually, if we stop and listen to ourselves, we do have all the answers.
I think it's fascinating.
Not to be arrogant, but we do. I'm saying that about everyone.
I totally agree. And so it's up to us to kind of tap into it and flex that muscle, because I think generations and centuries ago, our ancestors and mankind generally, it was a muscle we had to rely on a lot more, because we didn't have the technology.
Yeah, well, the resources it's not there.
And I mean, our life literally depended on it a lot of the time.
It's inner wisdom.
Yeah, and so now that muscle is weak, so we defer to others or technology or hope or whatever.
Well, that muscle's weak too, because we can just Instagram. What's he say? Oh yeah, he's right. Oh
yeah.
And we're still being influenced by that, and I think it's hard to sit still. Like you even said, it's hard to be alone and trust yourself and sit still, because it's uncomfortable. If you're really going to be with yourself and sit with yourself, it's uncomfortable, because it's not all of it's pretty.
No, distraction is a good way to not confront the things that one needs to.
I live in New York City. Talk about distraction.
Do you know anyone?
But that's why I try and balance it with this.
Exactly, and that's what you said last night. Like, this is the antidote for that.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with distraction.
No, totally.
If you love going to the theatre, if you whatever you like, distraction when it's not being used, if it's really truly bringing you joy, is good. If it's distraction, if you're running from something, maybe not so healthy.
I just a segue to kind of genetics or epigenetics. I find it fascinating that our bodies have receptors for different chemicals.
Yeah.
Right? There's many. One is there's heaps. Mushroom, or some of psilocybin. Some of the mushroom active chemicals, and also marijuana. I can't remember which ones in there, but we actually have receptors in our body that were designed, I don't know how long ago, ready to receive the chemical that is from a in this case plants, obviously, and plant medicines in some cases, where our bodies have those receptors ready to receive those chemicals in us right now, even though
to provide information for us to grow.
Yeah, because
that's all the future is psychedelics.
That's exactly.
This is the future.
That's a big thing.
Therapists are going to fade out. Yeah. This is what
we will. Yeah.
From what I'm seeing in the world now, like they say, I mean, ayahuasca or something like this, or these medicinal medicines are like 10 years of therapy in one journey. Yeah. And it takes balls to go and do that. I'd be a little scared to do ayahuasca. But I've spoken to people that's changed their lives. Yeah. Addicts who are no longer addicts. I mean, there's so much out there in nature, in your world, that it will give us the answers.
And that's the thing. Our bodies have those receptors ready to take on the trip, the adventure,
the wisdom,
the wisdom, the journey, all those things. We just got to, not don't have to, we don't got to do anything, but it's just, it boggles the mind at least, that, as you say, getting back to our body has the answers. Like, we've got the equipment,
we've got all the tools
within us to plug in literally to things, whether they're chemicals from a plant or whether they're concepts, so we're ready to do it. It's just a matter of, often. I'm gonna say always, because we respond much quicker, much more quicker to pain than pleasure. So those challenges are the things that we often have to go through to have that deflection point, or I can't remember the word you used there before. It was like a go on that different tangent to have the challenge, make the choice, and then you either let that ruin you, or, as you say, and what you are very, very good at clearly is going, okay, what's the good in this?
What's the lesson?
What's the lesson? What can I learn? What can I teach others? I mean, even your screenplay is I suspect will be something. It will happen. It will be something that people will learn from.
That's
exposing
what I want.
them to that sort of a thing.
I think that is my purpose.
I mean, how many people know about epigenetics? I only do because of stuff.
That's what I'm saying. I think my timing's finally right, because it is now coming very much to the forefront. We are talking about it.
Do you want to explain epigenetics? Like, just
really hard
in case we.
Yeah, but epigenetics. Okay. Well, we all understand the gene. Yeah. Epigenetics is when it is expressed by an environment. So it's a part of the gene. Like, okay, use the thing alcoholism. With alcoholics, they say, oh, yeah, my father's an alcoholic, so therefore I have the gene. I would contest that. I would say your father had trauma. He self-soothed using a substance. And the epigenetics of that is that when you're put in a stressful situation as the child of, that you are predisposed to that trauma and the same inclination to self-soothe. Does that
behavior?
Yeah. So it's behavior. So epigenetics is it's a gene that might not necessarily be expressed unless in an environment to do so.
Yeah, great. No, that's one of the best definitions I've ever heard.
Thank you, because I've been
you're a nerd.
But I'm a nerd. But I've been asking doctors and explain epigenetics. I still, really trying to get clarity on it. And it's still.
It is a new concept.
Yeah, it's a new concept. So I keep asking the question. Every time I speak to a doctor, that's their area, I get them, talk to me, tell me. And they all do nuance differently.
Okay, then where do we get up to? You were transatlantic. Atlantic. Were you going to? Did you do much in Europe? You were doing LA and Sydney. Did you do much?
I just partied in Europe.
Okay, so you went across Atlantic for have fun.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah.
London. Did you go to London and put up with all those?
Well, okay, people? London was another story. So after LA, and I was going between jobs. Then I went back to Australia, and did a show, and started getting a lot of work in Australia, and met my husband. Mm-hmm. So then that propelled. He wanted to do
on set.
We were acting opposite each other. It was a criminal drama, and I was the therapist, and he was the crim. Anyway, so lust between the bars. So he wanted to do stage in London, so that we were in London for a while there. And then...
And he'd been doing stage in Australia mainly, or
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
other films and production? Mainly
A
stage.
few films.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when we were thinking about life, I was like, if we moved to the States and give this a whirl, because his career was just starting, and had been working for long, I'd done a lot of films, and I was more interested in having babies. But I sort of wanted to be in New York, so we moved to New York, based ourselves in New York, and my kids have grown up in New York.
So he was able to go to London to do some play.
Yeah.
That, like, sort of, it's not quite.
We were there for a few years.
Yeah.
Wasn't my speed.
Where in London? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh no, same thing.
Yeah.
Your feelings about that had changed.
Too much chintz. Too much tea.
Too much cheese. Too much pims and cucumber
How much
sandwiches.
more? New York.
Yeah. And then children.
So we struggled getting pregnant, and that was a hard time that we went through with IVF and a lot of things like that. And we were always going to adopt anyway, I think. So we just went, okay, let's do it. So anyway, we ended up adopting our two beautiful children, Oscar and Ava.
At the same time, was it? Or was
5 year difference, 5 years apart.
Yeah.
And we're you got to understand, we lived on the road. We were like gypsies on the road from film sets to film sets. And I did Jindabyne, and Hugh did X-Men in Vancouver. And Ava actually was born when we were in London. He was shooting a Woody Allen film, and we got the call that she was there. We had 24 hours to go, okay. And so we jumped on a plane.
As in yes or no?
Yes.
Wow.
Because she came, it was, anyway, but you don't need to hear all that. But we flew to Texas and picked her up and brought her back to London. And my baby girl.
And how, because I know you've done a huge amount of work in the world of adoption, and obviously I would imagine informed by your own experience.
See, there you go. Like you talk about, we don't know where we're going to go. Did I know that I was going to do that? Did I see myself as an advocate for it? I only saw that because I saw what was happening in Australia and the injustice and of all these families that did want to adopt, and it was so hard, and it still is 13 years on. I mean, we started an organisation, we have Adopt Change, and international adoption worldwide started shutting down because of corruption within politics. And anyway, started my journey of being educated on what it's like to advocate for change, which is really hard. And here we are 13 years later, and we still have 45,000 children in foster care in Australia. Some kids, just so you know the reality, some little kids, babies, are put in hotel rooms with shift workers, and it's not their fault. They're given that job. They are not trained in trauma care. They are just there and they change shifts. This is children. These are children, and they're put in hotel rooms preliminary to finding before they go into foster care or to a permanent home. We're still fighting this battle 13 years on in Australia. So anyway, I just saw that injustice. I didn't even adopt in Australia. We were living in America anyway. But people would come to me and say, it's so hard. And I said, yes, I know. So I used my platform and said, what's going on? And I opened up a hornet's nest and realized, and it harked back, I think, where adoption was, stigmatized and shut down, back to the days of the women in the 50s, 60s, 70s who had children out of wedlock and were forced by state and church to relinquish. And you had these women who were still traumatized by having relinquished their children, and the children were traumatized because they were put into homes, and we created a whole systemic mess. So, we went into fight to get rid of the stigma, to make it easier, to build a system. But with politicians, it's always, they've got to have an impetus to want to do it. So we've been trying to, tell people this is what the reality is. There's filled Sydney Cricket Ground with children who have no home. It's terrible. This is kids. And we're Australia. We're generous.
Well, we're a first world country. We have resources.
We have the resources.
So tell me, is the circumstances for a mother to adopt their child out, has that changed a lot in the in the last few, I'm saying,
As
30,
in a
30,
single
40 years. Yeah, single mum, like you were saying back then, it was often because they had to.
Well, then you have then we had abortion, right? So obviously the numbers dropped, and young women who didn't want to have their child didn't have to do that. But through circumstance, there's so many circumstances why children in foster care, mental health, domestic violence, and these are damaged, people. These are children of people who have suffered. And you talk about intergenerational trauma. I've seen, in South America, every generation the kids ended up in as an orphan, and it was this one grandmother who said, "It's stopping here. It's stopping here," and she stopped the lineage of children being relinquished. But it's like when there is systemic damage, we have to do the work. We have to go to our inner wisdom. That's why people say, "What's the answer?" Whatever. Really, it's spirituality. It's like coming home. Come home to yourself. Come home to your authenticity. Come home to what you need to do to, because we're human beings and we have empathy and we want to help each other. So I think we don't sit still long enough to be still to see what needs to change. And I've been at it 13 years with Adopt Change with, great team around me, trying to change the system. And it's been gargantuan. I got, prime ministers on board, and they said to me, "Dad, I couldn't move it." Like, I know.
So what can't be moved? What are the hurdles in place? What's the systemic kind of?
I think it's because it's within myself in trouble, but it's within the government. There is a culture that is overworked, under-resourced, and not inspired to want to shift the needle.
So are there
because they're tired, or else, and it's a lot of people who have been burned by the system that don't want to push it forward.
Is there enough? What's the proportion of willing or able parents who would like to adopt? Like,
people going to extremes of flying overseas for surrogacy, to India to get eggs. So people go to all these extremes. I was like, people in the adoption system, people who were doing that, I was like in the IVF clinics. I'm like, let's put things out for adoption. But they said you can't, because you can't do adoption easily because there's so many rules. There were obscene barriers to adoption, like mass body weight. If you were too fat, you couldn't adopt. Some woman told me that she was quizzed about her sex life. This is getting ridiculous.
That's pretty.
But it was kind of and just overly bureaucratic details that. And every minute a child is not in a permanent loving family, that they're being damaged.
Are there enough families that want to adopt the number of children?
No. Okay.
So what
a lot of families want baby. I don't know the data. I'm not at numbers. No. Remember, I failed maths.
Yeah.
I'll give you my CEO. She can give you more of the details. But no, but foster kids, older kids are hard. It's harder with older kids. You know that you're taking on a lot of issues, and it takes very special people that step up for that. But Adopt Change, what we do is give as much support to the families that are, fostering these kids, and we give. And to me, the most important thing is the support for mental health, because every child that is separated from their birth family it's trauma. Yeah. Trauma.
And is the system similar in the States? Is it totally different? Is it better or worse?
Universal. It's better. It's better, but it's universal that this is a problem the world over. I don't think anyone's gold standard. I think Scandinavia is probably the best. Sweden, I think.
What are they? Do you know what they do differently that might make it a better system?
I don't. I just know their system works better. That they have more support in place. That their structure, their infrastructure of how the system works. It's like anything, any business. You got to make an infrastructure that serves.
And also, I guess history too might play a part in that. Like they might have got it right, so to speak, way back when. And as I say, it's
plus we have the thing attached in Australia to the stolen generation, which is not. If I hear that one more time, and our Aboriginal community is being greatly disturbed. There's so many kids in foster care from the Aboriginal community, and that we need help there. But when people say to me and compare adoption to the stolen generation. That was theft. Stolen generation was theft. Let's be clear on that. Nothing to do with adoption. Adoption is about providing a loving home for a child that needs to be cared for.
It's kind of the other end of the spectrum, isn't it?
So I get cross when people bring that up.
Yeah.
But that's part of, I think, why politicians are scared to touch it. It's definitely very controversial and they might miss out on a few votes.
Easy to do nothing about it. Yeah. And as you say,
Which
I think
is a sin. I think to know something and not do anything about it.
Now, why didn't you get into politics? Come on, you'd be perfect.
I was Torbich. I let everyone in. I believe everyone. I think everyone's got the nice agenda. And politics. Oh my God, I could never be a politician. No.
Why?
Because
you'd be funny and fun.
I would be funny and fun.
Your press conferences would be
But politics to me is a little dry. It's like it's basically you've got everyone's problems. You've got to make them work.
You've got to say yes to everyone.
Yes.
And you're good at saying no.
I'm better at saying no.
Was there once upon a time you just said yes to everything?
Yes, not everything, but I've learned how to say no as a survival's tool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
and also politics doesn't light me up. You have to follow your roadmap of what lights you up.
Tell me, topical. We're in the States. We happened to be here when things went down last weekend.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Great respect for Joe Biden stepping aside. He's a good man, and he's stepping aside for his country.
Yesterday?
Yesterday or the day before. Yeah.
And he has. There was a moment where did he endorse Kamala, or he hasn't endorsed her? Is it open book now? I can't follow it, but I'm not sure. Don't know.
I'm in my sanctuary. I've sort of tried to shut that world out. And if we're going to get into politics, I may snooze off. Keep me awake.
I couldn't care less, to be honest. I'm more.
We have to care because, especially this year, we have to care because it's a big year in America.
I'm more curious about the people's responses or thoughts because I see what I see on social media. Don't watch TV, don't see the news, so I don't know what that's. I've got my thoughts on that, but I just find it's. I mean, politics is a bit of a circus everywhere, isn't it?
It's a complete circus. But you know what that scares me with politics? Okay, but you realise, we think everyone's in it for altruistic and want to change the world, want to do good for our communities. Politics, that's why I could never do. I believe everyone what they're saying, but everyone has an agenda, a personal agenda, which. To stay in politics, to stay in power, you've got to serve that agenda. And it's a lot of corruption. It's a lot of, self-serving people that are not doing it for the right reason to want to create a great world.
Do you think some of them go into it with all the right intentions and they just get caught up in the machine?
Yep.
Do you know anyone in particular?
Nope. I don't talk to politicians. Just fighters.
Except those who are involved in the adoption situation.
Yes, I had to. I had to meet with a lot of politicians, and it's tricky.
I don't think
it's tricky because they I can see that they don't. They're scared. They was in the beginning. They were like scared to get involved because they might call it's controversial and they could get in trouble and everyone in probably they're all scared to offend or.
And also, I guess they've got to toe the party line. Exactly. And every party's got a view on a policy on everything, whether they kind of talk about it or not. And so it's like no individual politician's going to step out of it.
I'd love someone to step up in child services that's really passionate. I just hook up with someone in child services, get them behind us, and we're ready to go and do things. And then, change of government, and the guy from the horse racing department's now in charge of child services. Yeah. And I got to go out to dinner with him and say,
tell me about,
And he's from the horse racing department.
That in itself is a bit of a joke, isn't it? Like, how do they expect any consistency?
Exactly. I cannot tell you just and it takes a lot to develop relationships with politicians to get them on board, to get them behind your cause and forge ahead and then change it. And then
I guess it just shows it's not about getting the job done and actually having the best people on the right seat on the bus. It's more like, okay, who have we got? Let's just fill that role. Get to the next election. I mean, when I remember doing...
And that's not all politicians. I believe some people are drawn to it because they really do want to make a difference. Can't be too extreme.
We're not going to bash all the politicians.
Yeah, we're not going to bash them all, just a few.
But I remember in economics, or was it commerce in school, and we had a very...
I found that.
Did you?
Well, I napped.
No. Well, I guess it's sometimes got a bit to do with numbers, hasn't it? And geography. Oh, no.
No, I had one teacher 1 year who was economics, and I got a great, shows you, okay, let's give a shout out for the teachers. It shows you that a teacher can make all the difference, because I used to be so bored in economics, and this one, and I was sort of like the naughty, distracting girl, cracking jokes or whatever, and this one teacher liked me, and she championed me and turned me on with economics. It was only 1 year.
It's a very good point,
and she's now a chef.
Really?
Yeah.
A good chef.
A brilliant chef. I'm going to give her a shout out. I'm going to give her a shout out.
Come on, give it a rap.
And you'd love it. Talk about regenerative farming.
Where is she?
Wolf Tasker, Dale Street.
Oh, really?
She was my economics teacher, and she championed me. It was the first time that I took an interest, and that's because of a teacher. Teachers have a huge, they can make or break a child's direction.
It's a huge responsibility. Have you just seen what's turned up?
I have.
A beautiful lady, being my wife,
fellow Sagittarian,
lady, and a wonderful. We have to get a shot of that, because that's one of the most. I can't do a cheese plate like that.
See, I love beauty. Yeah. I got beauty and beauty.
Oh,
you don't never ask me to do a cheese platter, because I just open the cheese, put it on the bench.
Here we go.
Imparting so
Hang
many
on.
girls
check it out.
and not feeding yourself.
Oh, no,
look at this cheese platter.
Awesome. That is so cool.
Oh my God! Are these strawberries straight from my garden?
I've got all that from your garden. I wanted to hear the strawberries and you got the cheeses from your garden.
from that cow over there.
No, it's deer. It's one of your deer. It's deer milk.
We have a lot of deer.
It's deer milk. Yeah, no. I love teachers. I mean, there's some teachers I actually despise, because I can see the damage that they do. But there are some teachers. Case in point, I had a teacher called, I can't think his surname, his Christian name, someone Eggert. Is it John Egger? I can't think his name. And he was my English teacher, and he was fantastic. And he nurtured my writing, and and all it took.
That's all you need. A bit of confidence, and
all it took was like a couple of nice comments about a piece I'd written, and I this day, I remember the piece I wrote, and this is in year 9, I reckon. I remember the piece I wrote. I don't think it was that good, but he said, "This is really good stuff," and I remember that so well. And there's another guy, Pete Rainey, who I had him in year 7. Have you seen the movie Harold and Maude?
Yeah. Oh gosh, ages ago.
Yeah, we used to watch that every term.
Really?
I don't know why. He said it's the best movie ever. Thank you. But they're the ones. They're the teachers that make the impression, because they nurture they can see the potential, they can see the genius, the skill, the whatever it happens to be.
Or even just the curiosity, so they open the door, the portal for that kid to explore. Maybe I can do it. Foster, that's the word.
Foster the curiosity.
You come up with all the words I'm searching.
Oh,
I didn't give you some jam. Do you want some jam?
I actually love that. I'm very conscious not to drop my fountain pen on your lovely white, because I'll get smacked.
Oh, good.
What is that?
I love eating food. I love cooking.
Well, I love that you, as you said something hilarious last night.
I do.
About an old boyfriend and candles. Good problem.
I was dating this guy, and because I love beauty, I love to create magic, and every meal should be an event. I like everything to be an event. And I would light the candles at night. And then he said, "Why are you lighting the candles? You're just wasting it." And in that moment, I was like, "Okay, I'm just going to pack my bags right now. I'm out of here. This is never going to work. Never going to work." And I've been lighting the candles ever since.
He failed.
He failed miserably.
Well, after hearing
that's just, it says so much, doesn't it? It's like you don't think that you're worthy of enjoying your life. You don't want to, like, every moment counts and should be beautiful. Why waste it? I hate wasting.
I have to say, this trip we've been on, and we've been out for 3 weeks, and I've been reflecting. I haven't been writing much of my journal at all, unfortunately. Lila has been doing a little. She's got this little cute. You should get her to show you. Little black book. She's bought herself these little watercolor pens, and they're like those little squishy pens where you got to.
I know, but yeah.
Yeah, and every day she's drawing the day, like there's 3 or 4 little images on each page, only a small page. And I thought, well, that's such a lovely way to document it. But my point is that this trip, and I was saying to Angela today, and to your point about capturing the good and the learnings and so on, I said to her, when we get home, we are not going to miss the opportunity to sit down and reflect on our trip and execute, whatever word you want to use, the things we learned, the things we loved, and the things we want to have been inspired by. One thing for me, and your garden is doing it right now, are these beautiful oak trees and other types of trees, some I'm not familiar with, and I keep going, one of my legacies needs to be, I want it to be, lovely landscape at our farm. So I'm going to go home and plant some trees. So thank you for reinforcing that inspiration that you have in this beautiful garden.
Thank you.
There are many other things, but how do we get onto that one? Oh, just being inspired and
that's what travel does always.
Yeah, exactly.
It always,
so your trip to Europe.
This house is, I've got a bit of my trip to Japan, a bit of my trip to Morocco, like the hammam stuff. All the things that I saw on my travels, I incorporated into
story of
this
your
house.
Life.
Yeah.
Or parts of your life.
Yeah.
So where to now?
Where are we going to go now?
Apart from cheese.
Trees. We love trees.
Okay. Well, thank you for talking about that adoption stuff, because I met your children many years ago. They were only quite young.
Yeah.
At the time. Oh, you're a star. Thank you. And they're both in New York.
Yes. My son's an artist.
And he loved, I remember last time I saw you, you told me how he loved plants. And he has a real thing for...
He's always, he was a baby, he climbed trees. He was always climbing trees. He walks out here and comes back and goes, Mum, he's passionate. I found mullein. Do you know that mullein, if you do it as a tea, it's good for your lungs, and we've got a whole herbal garden for teas that he's like an alchemist. He loves being in nature.
So where does that come from? That's like, so let's just look at this for a minute. There's
I think it's genetic. I think it's in his, he's adopted, but he was from the country. So it's in him.
Well, that's my point. So people can have childhood trauma, which, sends them in different directions. But at the same time, there can be very positive epigenetic impulses or expressions that can take back. So, his great grandmother may have been a bit of an alchemist. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. And he's very spiritual too. So, I think lives going way back. His artwork. If you look at his artwork, I'm like, my
Where's
son.
that come from?
Exactly. I'd love to know.
Well, you do. So
I paint, and I'm an artist, and I provided an environment for him to express himself. Like, I followed his lead. What his interests were. We went when he was 3. He was mad about everything Egypt, and we had an opportunity, so we took him to Egypt. And I remember we went to the museum, and we saw Ramesses' skeleton in the thing. It was Justin Bieber. He was like, this is the real Ramesses. Oh my God. And this kid, we had this archaeologist who was touring us around, and my little 3-year-old is arguing with the archaeologist. He just has this knowledge. He has this, he's really smart. He's just got a knowledge, but it's like, I don't know where it comes from. That's why I do believe in past lives. Even with his spirituality, he's explored all religions, and he's very informed, and that's his interest. And my daughter's going to now have the opportunity through college to find out what her passions are. She's also artistic.
So she's going to do that few years of kind of various... Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
She's just coming into adulthood. She's launching, so I'm letting her choose her path.
So as a mummy, what have you got any parenting tips for?
Oh, I think so.
Oh, we could all do with some.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
We think we're doing that. Because they're our kids and we love them, and we always like, oh well. And I think we're softer. Our generation is softer than before us. So
what? I kind of
like we don't want our kids to suffer, or like, oh, don't worry about it. And
is that because we suffered? Do you think is that like we go? Oh, I don't want them to, feel the pain or the.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. But I know that before, I mean, we used to get the strap in school. You couldn't do that now. I mean, it was very disciplinary, and you never speak back to the, grown-ups. And like now
Have we gone too far? Do you think there's this controversial question? Bing bing. Do you think there's room for this, not the strap or?
No, I do not believe we should be beating our children. No. I don't think we've gone too far. I truly believe we should be beating our children. No, but I think we've given them, and I don't think that they want it. We've given them too much choice. Like, how do you feel? We're very that. Like, how do you feel about that? It's so we're sort of giving them. They want boundaries. They want boundaries. They want to know that you're in charge and you know what you're doing. And a lot of us think we know what we're doing. We hope we know what we're doing. Like, we don't know what we're doing, but we're giving it our best shot. So, it depends on the tools you were given, how you were parented. That's how you parent. So it depends.
Do you think your parenting is a reflection on
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, as a child.
100%. What else? How else would I learn? How else do we learn?
You could read a heap of books.
No, it's not me.
Because there's no shortage of books. I had a parent. I haven't read any of them, by the way.
Exactly.
My mother, she's given me quite a few.
There's a woman who's a friend of mine who's written a book called Conscious Parenting, Dr. Shafali.
Oh, yeah, she's cool.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's so true, because I would speak to her and she goes, bring it back to you. A child is triggering you. Say, you think the child's got a problem. She's like, what is it in you that child is triggering? So.
And she has children.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But so she really opened my eyes up to about conscious parenting, that we're getting mad at the child because the child's not meeting what you want them to be captain of the basketball team, and they're not. It's your problem. And we're placing that on them.
Yeah.
So I think boundaries. I think children need and want boundaries, and they want to know that you're in charge and you know what you're doing. Yeah. And a lot of us don't know what we're doing. I mean, we become parents and like we didn't pass an exam.
No, we're all doing our best, aren't we? And I think one thing I can't remember, I think it might be a Tony Robbinsism, is we get the best of our parents and the worst from ourselves. Do you believe that?
No.
No.
We get the worst of our parents too. We're carrying their shit as well.
Shit, yeah.
Are you kidding? No, I completely disagree with that statement.
Robbo, you better scrap that.
We get everything. Well, we are in. I think
we get the best
kids until they're 5. Until they're 5, they're like little computers, and all the data's going in. The way you look at your wife, the way that you look at grandpa, the subtleties of the relationship, that's all going in. So we get the best, the good, the bad, and the ugly is all going in there, and it's how you navigate all the stuff that went into your computer before you're 5. And someone said the other day, we spend the first part of our life, all the stuff's going in, and then the second part of your life, you end up trying to work it all out. Like what I do wrong, we're on therapy.
You're trying
to work it out. What happened?
You're trying to work out what to do with all that content.
Yeah.
And I had a little quote, an Angelica quote there. I can't remember it now. Because they're little vessels, aren't they? They just absorb and absorb and absorb.
Completely. And in utero.
In
utero. All that stuff's going in. As you arrive.
So there's the genetic trauma of intergenerational stuff, and then there's literally whatever the environment, and that environment is not necessarily
if you're stressed during pregnancy, that's going into your child,
and also food. The food you're
100% food. And guess what? Our doctors, guess what they don't study in medical school? Nutrition. Hello.
I know, isn't that crazy?
It's nuts.
You've got you,
and that's why Gabor Mate. I highly recommend people look into Gabor Mate. I think he's the smartest guy in the room, mind, body, soul, and he's no doctor sort of asked about the patient, because trauma is what causes dis-ease. So you go to the root of where the trauma started, then you can deal with dis-ease, not just cover it with band-aids of big pharma.
Yeah. But that's a great business model, though, isn't it?
It's what?
It's a great business model they've got there. They help farmers produce shit food, which makes you say your nutrition is poor, and then they'll give it as Will Harris, or a fantastic farmer in Georgia, I interviewed the other day. and he said they sell bullets and Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Both.
Oh,
Mm.
how bad is that?
Yeah, it's shocking. I'm conscious of time, and this is a lovely little cheese platter.
We've got to get to that cute little Italian restaurant.
We do. Tell me, this is a lovely place to be for you, where you're up to in life right now, isn't it?
My next chapter.
Your next chapter.
And luckily I'm a creative, because I've got to get real creative. I'm about to start a whole new chapter of my life, and what I've learned thus far is to trust the universe and to surrender rather than control. So that's where I'm at the moment, and I'm surrendering up to what I'm attracting.
So, what are you attracting, you reckon? What?
You want to get back to me in a few weeks?
No, what were you saying last night about
attracting.
Yeah.
No, like already. What was I saying last night?
No, it was hysterical. You're saying you showed us that little clip about the little graphic, or what do you call, meme or something, and the guy's going, "Hey God, you know that manifestation I asked for."
Hey, universe, hi, you know that manifestation I was talking about? Do you know when it's arriving? Is there a tracking number? Hello?
Is there someone else I can talk to about it?
Yeah, can I speak to whoever's in charge? We don't know, but I am trusting that the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is working for me.
Well, you deserve that.
We all do.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
We totally do.
Yeah.
And so script. How do you? What are you going to not as a film script? It's a screenplay. That's on the go. You have any other projects? Sort of,
design projects.
Design, yeah, because you have.
Because I love.
You win an award or something? Did you do
about
something?
30 for this place.
Really?
We just won. That's all. We just won International Interior Design Award for this property.
Get out of here.
Which was really exciting, because this was a labour of love and passion. And with my team, there were architects and designers, but it was a collaboration, and it was a labour of love. And
And you said it was like it was a few years, wasn't it? Like you
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Which is not a short period of time.
No, I loved the process. Yeah. So I want to do it again. So I'm now working with other people who've asked me to do other projects.
So tell me, any tip, because Angelica has found her calling somewhat in the project we did at Byron Bay.
Byron, which looks beautiful.
It's amazing. I've got to say, it's L'Escolia. It's amazing. And I've watched her journey and her creativity just blossom, and finding her, I guess, one of her purposes at least, because I don't think she's just got the one. What did you discover about yourself in the process of creating this? Are you a team player? Are you directing traffic? Did your people skills improve because you had to, through negotiation? Or, I mean, how do you deal with someone who's doing a job and they just didn't quite get the brief, and you've told them 16 times?
This is what's happened. Everything gets lost in translation.
Yeah.
What I found doing this, because there's a certain part of the house, the mezzanine, and a girlfriend of mine who's a very famous designer, I'm not going to say who it is, said, "What are you doing? That's crazy. It won't work." And I really respect her. She's amazing. I had the architects who were not agreeing or getting it wrong, interpreting my vision. I had a lot of pushback on certain ideas I had, but I trusted myself. I knew it. And my greatest moment is that friend who's the designer. Yeah. She goes, you were right. It was a great idea. But I fought against, sometimes you go, and you listen. When you start not trusting yourself and you listen to other people and you do that, and you regret it. So I learned to trust myself, because everything that I got pushback on was said, don't do it or don't do it, including the pizza oven. They said it'll never work. Everyone loves the pizza oven. The kids love it, and it worked. I learned to trust myself with my choices, because only you can see the vision you've got, and it's unique to you. So they can't see it. They can't see it.
It's a pretty permanent kind of thing, isn't it? Representation of your creativity, because, as you say, if you got it wrong and you went, okay, hands in the air, I got it wrong, like your decision, right, not influenced by others, can handle that.
Yep.
But as you say, if you don't go with your gut and you go with your head and you go, oh, look, I don't know, but okay, you're the expert.
Yeah. Oh, no.
You got to look at that bloody thing for the rest of
Yeah. And that's what I said. Even like I did the same in New York. The architects made this countertop higher, and I thought, well, I'm either going to pay a fortune to bring it down, or I'm going to pay a fortune to therapist because it's going to bug me every day. This countertop's not the right height. And I was right because I'm very visual, and I knew it was too high, and I could see it, and I just, had to take a whole huge slab and just bring it down.
But you got to do it.
Yeah. So you had to take, again, like the artist, the blank canvas, you have courage to trust yourself.
That is the word of the day, I think, courage.
Yeah, courage.
You clearly have oodles of it. So project design, and
acting. I mean, I'm still. The acting is hard because you, as an actor, you have to uproot your whole life, and it's hard with family and everything. You have to uproot your life and live in the middle of nowhere. But there's a few projects that have come my way, so a bit of acting as well, maybe. But my passions are, I think, the design and creativity, and I paint.
You got to stop painting.
Yeah.
My wife told you, didn't she?
Yeah.
2 years is pain.
Yeah. No.
But that would be.
But it's right. I needed to.
When the right. Oh, totally.
I needed to be still.
Oh, totally. You had other you, and then now as I said, you have. This was a blank canvas, and that took some years.
Yeah.
You now have literally blank canvases in your art room that are ready when you are to put on there whatever you feel is necessary or appropriate. And I had another question for you. Oh, you know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to wrap it up. How cute.
This is my baby.
You got your little ball.
Come here, baby.
You got your little...
I like
it's
that.
like a security ball, isn't it?
It's her baby.
It's a baby.
Come here. This is my baby.
So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it up because that's an hour 50. Holy shite!
How cute is
It's always
my baby?
It's always a good thing, a good sign. Not that it happens often, I have to say. When I get to nearly 2 hours and I go, oh, where'd that go?
I love that.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your patience and your time.
I've got to keep you entertained through dinner now.
Oh no, Andy's been practicing a few dance moves, so we'll do that. No, her Italian. Actually, you might speak better Italian than her. You were saying you were showing off last night.
Sì.
You were. See, we were laughing today because we were in town, and because every time, and she actually your buddy and Anne's buddy she says the same thing. They'll be speaking Australian, and then they'll come to an Italian word, and they'll just like give it all their Italian ooze that they can, and then they'll finish the sentence in Australian.
I do that too.
So we're going to do that tonight over when we read the menu at the restaurant.
Esatto.
Who?
Esatto, exactly.
Exactly. And what I'm going to do, if it's okay with you, we're going to have a break. We're going to have a bit of cheese and biscuit and strawberry.
Yeah, it's so good.
For 2 minutes, you can do wee. I'll go do wee or whatever we need to stretch the legs. And then if you're up for a little 10-minute. It's a Q&A. I've got sort of 4 or 5 very standard questions, which I roll out to my guests, which goes to my subscribers. So I have this is the free version of the interview, and then I have a little subscriber bizzo where people who pay $5 a month or something. Oh, shit!
Oh, no!
Cheese. It's all gone.
Look at that. What a way to end.
No, that's all good.
The cheese platter
The cheese on
the
ground.
floor.
No, it's all right. The dog hasn't gone for it, so that's good news. There's no ants.
Should we cut while we clean up?
We will. I'll finish that blurb in the break. Deb, you're a star. Thanks so much.
That was hilarious.
If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love your support. By subscribing, rating and reviewing The Regenerative Journey on your favourite podcast platform, you help us reach more people and keep the show thriving for seasons to come. Each time you listen, you're choosing to make a positive shift in your own world. And if an episode speaks to you, please pass it on to friends, family or communities who might be inspired too. For more details and episodes, visit www.charliearnott.com.au.